times. When a man is showing up as more nonchalant about something that has you feeling unsafe, where an ultimatum or bringing it up again and again and again doesn't work, and you're feeling the trust kind of erode in your relationship, where you're feeling less trust of him, and that space. A specific scenario that's happened is an ex from the past being in the picture, kind of in the picture, and feeling really confused about why is he so available for her? Why hasn't he changed the locks? Why hasn't he blocked her from his phone? Why is he still available to meet her? But like when a man is like nonchalant about things, we're like, why is this happening? What more perspective can you add to that?
Whoa, well, not only do I have perspective, I have experience. I was with a guy when in my idiot phase that it's taught me everything I can share with you, for 2 years, who was still so tied to his ex-wife. She was kind of a part of our theater company group. And she actually eventually married my ex-husband at the time. And she had many boyfriends and serious relationships, but the guy I was dating was there for her 1,000%. She called, he ran, but he was chill. He never gave off that he ever expected to be with her again, or that there was, anything other than this feeling he had for her as a friend and protector and all of that, right? And since he told me early, which in your situation, your guy is not telling you, that we were friends, but no, I decided not to listen to that until it really became clear. It was like, okay, how stupid can I allow myself to be? How unalert about myself. And that brings another point that I'll talk about with, did I really want a relationship? Did I really want to get married again? Did I really want him? I mean, he wasn't, a big money maker. He was just handsome, and he had all his baggage, and he wasn't even really sweet to his little dog. I mean, did I really want it? Probably not. And that was probably my way of justifying the fact that, yeah, I needed that time to pull myself together, learn how to be with a guy, have great sex, which was what was holding me together with him awesomely. The connection was amazing. And maybe I didn't really want to marry him, but I made myself think that I did, so that I could justify the time I was spending with him, which was fun. So if I let myself actually realize that, I'm dabbling in him, and I had circular dated at the same time. The second he said, friends, oh, I'll take you because you're reliable, you're nice, you're a good person. He would come over and do things for me. He was wonderful and handsome and all kinds of stuff. If I was dating other guys, everything would have worked. When I got that in my head much later, that did work. That kind of thing did work then I met my husband right after. So putting those things together, do you really want to be traditionally married to somebody, or you just want a good time? Really good time, and want to do stuff, travel the world, not necessarily with him. Do you want to explore? Do you want to have adventures? Are you, you really got to ask deep inside, what do I want? And why am I continuing to be with this guy who is not offering me of his own free will and his own excitement to marry me and do the picket fence and be a partner with me? Maybe deep down, I don't really want that with him. So I'm making everything up. So I want you to think about that. If a guy is nonchalant with you, and a guy is hanging out at all with an ex other than the mother of his children, he has to be with his friendly and warm to his ex if there are children involved. And if you're going to get involved with a man with children, which is 90% of the men out there for you, you're going to have to get used to that blended family business. You're going to have to get used to becoming warm and friendly with that ex-wife. because you're going to have to deal with kids. Celebrities are doing it all over the place. You can see it on Instagram. You can see how co-parenting is working and all that stuff. So you have to be okay with the ex-wife under those circumstances, unless it feels over the top to you. There's a big difference in the mother of your children, and you go over there and you take care of her. She needs something that relates to her ability to handle the kids. But if, she's calling you for something that has nothing to do with that, or nothing to do with her well-being, maybe she has some little mental problems or things you worry about her ability to be a good mom to your kids, to the man, to his kids. He's worried about that. So unless that's happening, but I got to tell you, you will feel that. You'll go, I really get why he's there, and you'll feel good. You'll feel good about him, and you'll feel like this makes sense to me. There's a reason, but there's no feeling for the wife. It's not like he's listening to her talk for an hour every night on the phone. It's not that you can feel him excited to be there. You can sense the business-like quality of it, right? And you can sense the romantic quality of his relationship with you. You'll feel good. On the other hand, if you do not sense the romantic quality of your relationship with him, and you sense the potential of some romantic vestiges of a relationship with her, then you're in the wrong place. You're with the wrong guy. You can't fix it. It's done. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but I got to tell you, if a man is not all over you, and I mean literally all over you in every way, shape, or form, sexually, romantically, time-wise, spending time, you feel it, and you feel secure, and you feel, and whatever else he does, the other friends he has, the women friends he has, the women in business he has lunch with, those do not bother you. They feel okay because of what you feel in the relationship. Then you're good to go. But from what I'm hearing from this particular comment is that's not what you're feeling. You're feeling he's nonchalant about your feelings. So scripting is the big deal. Okay, so if you're with that nonchalant guy who also has the wife, you're not going to complain. Complaining is the least successful way to approach a man, as you can imagine. As a matter of fact, I'd call it the most unsuccessful way to approach a man is to complain. So what I would do is find a coach, or on here on Siren Island, check your words and see if you are actually complaining without realizing it, because we all do that. Oh, this happened to me today, and something in your voice. Maybe that sounds like normal sharing to you, but actually it is a complaint, and it comes across as a complaint. So check that out with all the coaches on Siren Island, okay? Everybody who's a coach, be prepared to deal with, are you complaining or are you sharing feelings?
This is a big one for all of us.
What's the difference, If he says, I can't stand, you're complaining, take that as an actual, Am I complaining? What words am I saying? What is my energy? Am I equivalent to a sigh? It was so hot outside. That's a complaint. Oh, I feel all sweaty from the hot weather out there. Is a complaint. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was in a steam bath out there. Is not a complaint. Subtle? It's the vibe, right? Oh, I wish I had gone out. Oh, I wish I could change the weather. And that's just about the weather. There's no way he's going to feel wrong about that. Like, it's not his responsibility, the weather, right? So
He can also see, not just him, but you'll be able to pick up on the vibe of being able to vibe with what feels good. It can so easily be, a parade of all the things that don't feel good. And but if we're practicing that, looking for what feels good, feeling what feels good in any moment, yes, it feels like a steam bath, and I think I'm ready for a drink of cold water.
Yeah, that's midway, but it's not blaming him for anything. But I noticed that the garbage is still not, still sitting in the drawer. That's a complaint. Did you take the garbage out? That's even worse. That's an accusation that you didn't take it out. And if you think that an innocent question is not an accusation, no. Go read the 4 rules of the book. That pretty much tells you what is you shouldn't be saying. We think if we just hint, you know, I noticed that the towel that's in the floor wasn't there yesterday. That is a complaint, accusation done like, you know, little Miss Girl. No, you either pick up the damn towel and put it in the wash, the basket, and you do stuff yourself and you take the garbage out yourself, which builds up resentment, or you just leave it there. You just leave it there. Let's see how long you can go without complaining about something that is his job. Then if it's bad enough, this is where we're going to now do the different words, which is nonchalant. Hi, honey. Can we talk about something? I'm feeling really bothered about something. He has to say, sure. And he said, I'm busy now. Okay, when's a good time? How about 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock, fine. I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to put it on at 3. Where would you like to meet? At the table? At the restaurant? In my house? Where would you like to meet? Okay. You set the appointment. Or you talk right then and you better be prepared. So, okay, sure, I got a moment. I really noticed that when I talk about and complain about my feelings about your ex-wife and everything, all the conversation starts, you hate it. And I don't ever want to complain ever again. I understand that that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. All right, I would even skip that whole part. But if you feel the need to talk about her, you got to talk about that. All right. You know, I just, it's a thing that bothers me. All right, shove that one aside. Now let's deal with the nonchalance. Okay, if his only nonchalance is about how you feel about the ex, that's one thing. If he's nonchalant about your feelings about other things, any specifics there? If not,
Yeah, this particular situation, we need to hammer it in. Like I'm feeling unsafe being at your house, not knowing if she's going to show up or key my car. Like,
okay, there we go. She's so angry that she's gonna key the car.
Maybe that's one of the fears.
You think she thinks that he's still interested in her?
It doesn't seem like it to me, but you know, the whole business thing of,
in other words, she's a stalker and
Yes.
you're worried about that. All right, that's changed the view. So he's not encouraging it. He's just like trying to keep it from escalating.
that's still showing up, like going to a lunch, or she's reached out to him and he's decided to meet up with her.
All right, that's it. Okay, so the language would be, hi, honey. I notice every time I bring up Rosalind or whatever her name is, you know, like the whole conversation shuts down, and I would love to talk about it in a way that feels better to you. Is there any way we could talk about it? Because I just want to say, I feel unsafe at your house. Sweetie, I realized that my main thing where I feel really insecure with us is that I feel unsafe at your house. He'll go, what do you mean? I feel unsafe that Rosalind's going to show up and shoot me. Literally. I feel afraid that she's going to come and use her key and open the door. She's going to puncture my tires, or I'm worried, you know. I hope she doesn't know where I live. Does she? Okay, now that's a whole different conversation, right?
Yeah.
There's either he's going to go, you're an idiot. How could you be afraid of her?
Or you're being silly.
You're being silly. And I would say, then I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Could you just share that with me? Explain to me why it's being silly. They'll say, well, she just needs a friend, and she was this. And I said, that isn't what it feels like to me. And I feel really weird and unsafe about it. And he goes, you're being an idiot. And saying, blah, blah, blah. If he keeps saying that, you got to drop him like a hot potato. Any guy who is not hearing, I feel unsafe, is not your partner. So then you say, I don't know what to do about this, because what can we do? What can we do to help me feel safe? What can we do? Can we change the locks on the door?
I already told you I would.
Well, that'd
But
be
he's not
awesome.
done it. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. When can we schedule that? Or I'm fine with that, but I don't want to be at your house really until those locks are changed. As long as she doesn't know where I live, I'm happy to have you at my house, where she should be anyway. You should be coming to her house anyway. Don't go to his house. You should be coming to her house all the time. You should always be coming to your house. You shouldn't be going over to his. It's just, it doesn't work for the mentality. You want to bring him into your house. That's what my settling him into was all about. You want to bring him into your life, not the other way around. Men are very protective of their castles. Bring him into your castle, okay? So saying I'm not safe, I'm so happy you're going to change the locks. And the next time he says, come on over, you just say, no, I don't feel safe. So you don't have to sit down for a negotiation here if you don't want to. Just wait. Next time he says, come on over, you just say, I'm sorry, I don't feel like coming over. I'm happy to have you over here. What's the problem? I don't know, I don't feel safe. What do you mean you don't feel safe? Somebody else has the key and I don't feel safe at all. Somebody's pissed at me because I got you. And, I don't feel safe right now. Well, that's crazy. Okay, that's fine. I'd love to have you. Got beer and a TV show. You see how an easy way it is to switch it? And if he goes, you're an idiot, and hangs up on you, wrong guy, drop him. And yes, you are going to unearth his real nature. Right now, you're probably skirting around and, excusing him because you're afraid to lose him. But, in business, women's business and everything, feminine energy business, and the way I was trained as a coach, the thing that sticks in my mind is be prepared to fire a client. Whoa. You have to be able to fire a client in order to be a good coach. You have to be able to fire a guy in order to get the guy you want. You have to be able to walk. You have to be able to fire him. You have to be able to leave in order to have the vibe and the energy and the power to attract the man you want. Basic, simple stuff. So, yeah, it's terrifying to put your foot down. It's terrifying to say something that's going to upset him. It is. But I want to tell you, when you're married to somebody, that's what everybody wants. I got the ring, therefore I can say scarier things. Bullshit. Guys can withdraw at anything. Yeah, it's harder to leave if you're married. But heck, if you're not married, it's so much better if you just discover that he is not capable of being the man you need. And basically, all you need in a man is not looks. Forget that. The chemistry comes from a different place. The chemistry, and I talk about this all the time, comes from a place that transcends what other people are doing, transcends what you see in the movies, transcends the typical of looks and whatever. It turns you on when somebody's handsome because you've seen it in movies and it's been inculcated in your mind. You just want to choose a man who is really got everything going to keep you safe emotionally and sometimes physically, and to make you feel like your needs are being met. Now, if we don't know what our needs are to begin with, that's what Toxic Men is all about, your core needs. If we don't know what those needs are all about, then how can we ever judge or discern whether a man can meet them or not? Well, you can start by, I feel crummy. I feel crummy. I feel untaken care of. I don't feel important. That's your first clue. Needs aren't being met. So that's when you say, maybe when it comes up, you don't have to sit down and have a discussion or bring it up. Maybe that's the problem, when you don't really have the words perfectly aligned in your head and in your body. So instead of starting a conversation, wait until it happens. It comes up, like, come on over to my house. I don't feel safe. Can you see the ease of that? And then you just be relaxed the rest of the time, right? You go to the movies, fine. He picks you up. You go to the movies, great. He comes over, you watch TV, great. You don't have to bring her up because it's not happening, right? But if he takes a call from her, or he says, I'm going to see her, if you find that out, then you go, whoa, I got to say, I'm really unhappy about that. I feel terribly unhappy that you're having lunch with your ex-wife. I basically can't even handle it. Emotionally, I feel fried. Emotionally, I want to hit her and I want to hit you too. You can say all of that in that moment. He'll go, what the hell? Why are you worried about it? It's just a girl. I'm sorry. I just, this ex thing is really beyond me. How would you feel if I was having lunch with all my exes? Well, I don't know. Well, it's not really happening, because I'm not doing it, because I would never think of doing it. So maybe we are not a good match. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that we're not a good match. This thing bothers me. If you can't come up with it while you're dating him, well, how are you going to manage marriage stuff? Because I'm going to tell you, and maybe this is the end of this particular live, because you're going to have a lot to talk about after this. Where do you think all the women who are married and come to me, how that happens? Did they get bulletproof by getting married? No. It got worse, because when you're married, you can't really circular date the way you want. You can't go back to scratch. You've committed. Forget about getting his commitment. You have effing committed. So you got to learn how to, and everybody calls these boundaries. I don't call them boundaries. I call about expressing your wants and your needs and saying, hey, are you the guy who wants to take care of my need here? I get jealous easily, and I'm not loosey-goosey about this. I'm not that girl. If you want a loosey-goosey girl that's loosey-goosey about you being with your exes, not me. I discovered that from my first husband. There were all these women around, and they were all his exes, and they all became my friends. What did I know, right? As long as I felt the connection with him, I would have been okay. And you probably would too. You'd go, you wouldn't even think about it. There's a wonderful movie called Young Adult, where the wife of the guy, of the young adult author, who comes to try and get him, she's so chill. She just knows he has no interest in her. She knows deep in her body. So she's a great role model, that character, the wife. But let's say you're married, and this stuff comes up, and you start harping on it, like bringing it up all the time. Well, what do you think's going to happen? He's going to withdraw. You're going to stop having sex. You're going to stop having wonderful stuff. And you're going to need to fix it just the way you want right now to fix the relationship. Much better to state your needs in the relationship and completely, separate from him and find another guy, or just start circular dating. And you can do that without leaving him, so you don't feel desperately upset. You don't need that pain thing about, leaving a guy is very horrific to your system, right? So you don't have to do that. You can just start circular dating. Say, I really hear you, and I'm not ready to be exclusive, or I want to give a big exclusivity, because and you don't even have to do that until you're actually ready to sleep with another guy, because just having lunch with other guys is like, okay, right? That's what he's doing, right? So all of this comes down to, forget the word boundaries. You got to really state your needs. You got to realize that you got to.
Oh no. Looks like Rory's computer may have frozen. I'm hoping this stays open. And I can see, it looks like we're still streaming. Now, there's two other questions that came through, and I know we're out of time today. What will likely happen is we'll just continue into next week. Same time, and we'll just continue going. What I'm seeing here, Rory may be back here just. There you are. You're back.
Oh
You're
my gosh,
back.
I was saying such brilliant things. What was the
I
last
know.
word?
Ah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know we had two questions that came up through this, and I was just broadcasting out that we'll just
Did you
continue.
hear about you have to get the needs out and met and talked about in the relationship and not try to save it till marriage when it gets
Yes. Yes.
You got that? Oh, good.
We got that, and there's another question that branched off from there, and I think this is more about emotional awareness of, like, am I expecting a man to meet needs like a girlfriend would meet needs, and trying to ascertain an awareness of what exactly are my emotional needs, and how do I include a man into that, and am I asking for a man to, oh, what else came up here? He takes care of me, provides for me, and attunes to my needs, but emotionally, I don't feel he's always present. He's loyal, but conversationally and going deep, I don't always feel met. Another aspect, going back to the marriage thing, is what if it's more cultural? So we can table this until next week if you'd like.
I'd like to table because it's noon, but I also would like you to be heard, which is I'll just make a quick thing about. Why don't you all make a list on Siren Island now? Make a list of the things that you feel that you need and want from a girlfriend. How about a best friend and just a friend? What do you expect and want and need from those women? And then write down what would you want from a male friend? What would you expect and want? And then write down, what are my needs for an actual romantic partner? If they're in an exclusive relationship, because I consider an exclusive relationship to be as big a deal as almost as marriage. Just shutting down all your other options. Hopefully not socially, you're still circular dating, being social. But once you say, I'm not going to let any guy into my space, it's a big commitment on your part. So what would you need from a guy throughout a partnership, a long-term partnership, that would be worth your giving that commitment? And I would say things like conversation is probably not one of those things, because you can talk to anybody. Having similar views about things and things to chat about, not necessarily. But it's nice to have something that you do together, game playing, watching a TV show that you both like, and then you can talk about that a lot. The human nature of it, or try watching a documentary or something. Or let's say there's something that takes you, like I watch kids cooking shows, it inspires me. And I watch, I now follow Asher House a lot, because he does very upbeat animal stories, animal rescue stories, and what he's doing. I feel moved by those things. So I want to share that with my husband, because I want a moved moment with my husband, which I think is what you're talking about. I don't feel like I can have any conversation with him where I feel moved. Intellectual conversations, zilch. Don't bother with any intellectual conversation with your man. Talk to other people about intellectual shit, okay? But something I want to share what's important to me, I want to cry in front of him and I want him to see me moved. Then you say, hey, I'm watching something new and it's like important to me, and I wanted to share my feelings about it with you. And then you don't do it if he's cooking or doing something else, because then you're pretty much, throwing your silk purse on a sow's ear, or whatever they say. You're throwing yourself under the bus, literally. if he's not there. So you wait until he's there. I want you to be there and hear me. That's a good one, because I want to share and I want to see if you could be there and hear me. Would you be, I'll have a minute for me to share? And he's got to be absolutely there before you open your mouth. Okay. He'll say, okay, what is it? If he goes, okay, what is it? No, I don't want to do it now. I want to feel safe and open. Can you see how that's a great training for him? A great way of developing this connection. I want to share this thing that is important to me and emotional to me. And I want to make sure that, it's a good time for you to hear me. When he's there and he's standing there and he's doing his best to be attention, say, I was reading this thing about dogs today, and I thought maybe I'd like to foster, but I'm not sure. But I looked at this tree house in the Airbnb catalog, and I would really love to go and be in a tree house and maybe look at the chimps, whatever the heck moves you. And he'll go, and he'll glaze over, but he's still there. You learn to feel whether or not he's still there. And if he goes out, you say, okay, thank you. If he starts to go out, you say, thank you so much. That felt so good. And then he's gone. And then you extend that time until he gets used to it. And bingo, you got to connect a conversation. All right. I hope
awesome.
that was a gem for today.
Thank you so much, Rory.
Love you all. Got to go teach in RCT, more wonderful coaches for you. And, write your things in Siren Island. And if you need me to weigh in, let me know. And that's what I'll do it on Monday. I'll even write some stuff for you if that's helpful. But I think this is the best way to basically really give you the big ahas and stuff. And know that I'm here for you. And I do read what you say, and I do have it on my phone, and I do hear the issues. And Natalina and the other coaches and Deborah, I see how they're helping you. And most of the time I don't step in because you're on a thread that's so incredible. And if you haven't posted yet and been written to by Natalina or Deborah, there's also so many other wonderful coaches there, Eva Elliott, and they're brilliant. But for me, Natalina and Deborah are creating for you an atmosphere of poetry, which goes deeper than the advice and stuff, and still listen to everybody else's advice and the way they're telling you to feel and everything. But Natalina and Deborah are doing abstract stuff with you on purpose, because that's their gift. They can do that. The idea is for them to go straight into you. So when you read what they say, they use a lot of dots because they don't want they want it all to flow right into you. It's sort of like riffing, only from their level of knowledge is pretty awesome. So read what they say and just let it go into your body. Don't try to think it. Go into your body. It may feel disjointed even sometimes. It's not. It's a form of going into the feelings in the soup that keep shifting all the time until they shake loose what you really feel, what you really need. The faster you can get there, the faster they will acknowledge it, and the faster you'll be able to move. Okay?
Thank you, Rory.
Bye-bye.